What's up YouTube? My name is Joystick. I have a brand new video for you today. We're going to be talking about the DPS characters in Overwatch. This is a meta tier list video. Let's hop right into this. Alright, so first of all, I'm going to bring in Echo right at S tier. I think Echo is still the strongest DPS in the game. You know, especially with like a mercy damage boost. I think, you know, even with like the nerf they gave to Echo, I think she's still the strongest character. You know, her ultimate is basically OP, right? Being able to copy, you know, into a full health target and then, you know, farming ultimate right away. I think Echo is still really strong. And, you know, just being able to like, her hitbox is just hard to kill. Like, she's just really hard to take out. Like, and just, you know, the sticky bombs with the mercy damage pocket I think is just really OP. You know, a lot of people might disagree with me on this pick for S tier, but I still think Echo is really strong the majority of the time, and it's never really a bad pick. Even in this hit scan meta, I think Echo is still really good. I'm going to bring in Tracer at A tier. You know, I was thinking of putting Tracer maybe close to S, but I think Tracer is still like, you know, she got nerfed as well. But I think Tracer still finds a ton of value, especially on the flank. You know, Pulse Bomb is still really good if you're comboing with like Graviton Surge or Orisa Pulse, something like that. You know, you can get a lot of value with Pulse Bomb nowadays. I think Tracer just, you know, can sustain on her own, find a lot of damage, and just be that really annoying flanker character that you know her as. So I think Tracer still is really good, especially in the right player's hands. If you're really smart at Tracer, staying alive, you're gonna get a ton of value on this character. McCree, right in an A tier. I think McCree still shines a lot in this meta. I think he's kind of flies under the radar a little bit, but like Flashbang is still so good. Just about, you know, just to take the duel with just about any character in Overwatch. That Flashbang and that presence of sustainability. You know, he's got 225 HP now, which really helps him out as well. I think McCree, you know, being damage boosted as well with Mercy, does so much poke damage, and you know, really stops the push from the enemy if you're playing McCree right and you're hitting a lot of shots. And if you're connecting flashbangs against flankers, you know, Tracer, you know, can take out Echo. You can even duel Widows sometimes. He can take the duel with just about everyone. So I think McCree still is really good in this current meta. We're bringing Widowmaker. I think Widow, you know, this is I was thinking of maybe putting Widow at B tier, but I think Widow still is kind of just, you know, how she's been for like ever. You know, just that strong long range hit scan that really changes the game in just the blink of an eye, right? If you're hitting shots on Widow, you can carry the game very quickly. So I think Widow is still up there. People might, you know, I was thinking of dropping maybe her to B because, you know, she is a bit diveable, but like in the right hands, and if you're pocketed correctly, positioning well, I think Widow still is really dominant in the meta. So I'm confident putting Widow in A as well. I'm going to bring in Ashe at A, more like an A minus, almost B plus, but I'll throw her at A. I think Ashe is still strong, obviously with the mercy damage boost. And I think her ultimate provides just so much utility. Like Bob, you know, like taking point, contesting point, you know, that survivability if you need to launch Bob at somebody just to stay alive as Ashe, I think is still so good. I think Bob just can carry games if you got good placement with him. And then Ashe, obviously if you're hitting shots, landing a lot of dynamites, you're just pumping out so much damage as well. Ashe is still a solid pick in the meta. Definitely fell off a little bit recently, but I think Ashe still has a presence in the meta currently. Next, I'm gonna bring in Hanzo, high B tier. I think Hanzo, you know, is starting to creep back into the meta as of late. You know, especially with a lot of Rein Zarya being played, so you get that, you know, the combination of Graviton Surge and the Dragon. I think Hanzo brings that presence back, as well as Storm Arrow being a little bit buffed as well. Hanzo does a lot of damage, right? And if you're definitely connecting shots and hitting those arrows, you're gonna be doing a lot, especially against you know, the meta that it's shifting into right now. There's not a lot of sustainability in the tank line, so if you're bumping out the damage with Hanzo, then you're gonna get a lot of value there. So I'm gonna bring in Pharah actually in B tier. I think this is a little bit of a hot take because a lot of people think, oh, like it's a hit scan dominant meta, but like I think Pharah is really underrated, especially if you're running the Mercy with it and you're playing really smart and you're really targeting those hit scans as Pharah and then you're taking them out. I think Pharah can actually take over games and really Pharah becomes like a mine type of game, right? If you're unable to kill the Pharah Mercy, it really gets into the head of the opponent, and if they force them to run double hit scan, and if that's not working, then you've really won as Pharah, and I think you can actually carry games as this character, and people just aren't playing Pharah enough, so really surprised about that actually. So underrated pick. I definitely recommend Pharah, to be honest with you, even though his scans are dominant. If you are good with Pharah, I do recommend. Symmetra B tier. I think Sim definitely presents a lot of threat, especially if in this like rush kind of meta. A lot of maps really revolve around like tight corridors, tight choke points. If you're running the Symmetra with like the Ryan Zarya full rush brawl comp, I think Sim just carries so hard. Setting up a TP from your spawn, like it forces the enemy to have to go out of their way to destroy that TP so you can't get that spawn advantage, right? There's a lot of outplays and little things you can do with Symmetra. I don't think people really think about that actually carries games. Like if you run Symmetra on Lijiang Tower on all 3 points, it's literally free wins. So definitely don't sleep on the Symmetra players right now. So Reaper B tier, kind of low B. I almost thought of Reaper maybe C, but I think with like Ryan Zarya compositions coming back, like I said with the brawl, really makes Reaper shine. And his ultimate obviously can be canceled pretty easily, especially if like enemy is running Brigitte, Brig, the Brig and the McCree, a lot of flashbangs or whatever. Reaper definitely can be countered pretty easily, but Reaper can definitely find a lot of value, depending on the composition you're running, obviously. We'll bring in a Mei here. I think Mei is very similar to the Reaper Symmetra, that brawl composition. Mei walls off a target and you isolate it and you kill him, right? That's how Mei's always worked out, and I think she definitely shines whenever brawl is like meta, right? Or wherever like brawl becomes like something dominant in the meta. That's when you want to run the Mei. You don't really want to run the Mei when you're running dive or something. Like that doesn't really make sense. You want to run it with the Ryan Zarya, the Lucio, right? And that's when you get that full value. Next, I'm going to bring in Junkrat, and I think Junkrat's kind of one of those characters that's always been in the middle of the meta. Never been like permanently like high S or A tier. I think Junkrat always floats around B, which is kind of crazy. There's always times you can find value on Junkrat, no matter what map it is. If you play smart, Tyre obviously gets like a lot of value, so can't really sleep on the Junkrat players either, because they will find their way around you. So Junkrat still decent. Bring in Torbjorn at high C tier. Torb is kind of a niche pick for me. I think he's become like one of the more defensive characters, and not really an aggro like DPS that you want if you're running that brawl. I think Torb is just where he kind of needs to be, a defensive kind of character. Hold down the point, really good on like 2 CP, I would say. Other than that, I do not love him in the current meta. Sorry, Torb players. Next, bring in Sombra here. I think Sombra is kind of a little bit underrated and not like used enough. I think Sombra could easily be B tier, but like coordination and ranked, it really isn't all there. There's a lot of one tricks in ranked. There's a lot of people that don't want to like conform to the meta. A lot of people want to like play the heroes that they're at. Sombra is more of like a scrim hero and like a hero that you play like in a coordinated team. So if you do have a coordinated team in ranked, which does happen, I think Sombra really is OP actually. So Soldier C tier. Kind of middle of the pack DPS. I just don't think Soldier is really all that strong unless you're really good at flanking, really good at connecting Helix rockets, and then somehow finding value with your visor. And usually it's either with Nano or behind Baptiste, like amplification matrix. That's like really it. Other, you know, Soldier is like kind of moved up in the meta and then kind of moved back down, so unfortunate there. Bastion, actually, you know, Bastion moved from, I think, D to C tier recently, because I think Bastion can actually do a lot. And you don't really have to run like the pirate ship, quote unquote, or anything double shield. You don't have to. I've seen Bastion players really get it done when like you least expect it. So I definitely would not sleep on the Bastion players right now. There is definitely value to be had there. Next, we'll have a Doomfist, low C tier. This hero just gets countered by just about everything in the game. You know, you gotta be like an unreal Doomfist player and really get at positioning, managing your cooldowns if you want to get value. Currently in the meta with Doom, I just think there's too many counters to him. You know, too many flashbangs and just so much CC in the meta. Doomfist just can't do a whole lot currently, so that's really unfortunate there. And last but not least, we got Genji coming in at D tier. This you know, this is what you hate to see, but you know, Genji is just, you can't really do a whole lot with his like primary fire and all that. It's like, it does so much little damage, and like, yes, you can get Nano Blade, but like countering Nano Blade nowadays is honestly pretty easy. And if you're not getting 2 or 3 kills with Nano Blade every single fight with Genji, then you gotta swap off this character, you know. So, you know, that's just how Genji kind of is, and I hope he moves back into the meta, because I really like when Genji's like more like B tier-ish, and like maybe even A sometime in the future. We'll see what happens with the meta. But that'll wrap today's video up, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoy these, you know, meta tier list videos. Hopefully you guys know what to run in your games now. I mean, if you guys have any comments, you know, make sure to like, subscribe, check out my Twitch, stream every day, twitch.tv/joystick.w, and I will see you guys in the next video.